Hello friends! So we are in week 4 right now. Here's the timeline. We are in week 4, one of these days, in theory, when you're watching this the first time. I promised to have our first midterm during week 6, and so it's coming up, right? So I better talk about it. I'm going to release a few pages and we'll talk about when it is, all right? So the very first page you should go to is the midterm 1 info page. That gives you the most information. I also want to talk about extra credit assignment eventually, but I want to go through the practice recording stuff before that, I think. So let's do it in this order, all right? So here is the midterm 1 info page. This will be your source of ground truth on what's going to happen for the midterm. So here is when it's going to be, all right? I'm going to make it available on Canvas between these times, 2 p.m. on the 18th to 8 p.m. on February 19th. All right, so it's going to be the Wednesday and Thursday of week 6, and that's perfect because it's going to line up with my in-person class. So that's why I'm doing it then, and that will be the time range, all right? It's going to be on Canvas. It'll be right here, actually. It'll be within the midterm 1 module. It's going to be like, there's the test. You'll click there to start taking the test. So it's going to be right there when you're ready for it, and you can start whenever you want within this window, but it's going to be an hour and a half to take it. All right, so there's going to be a timer that starts ticking the second you start the exam, and that means you better start by 6:30 p.m., right, on the 19th if you want the full time. Otherwise, it will cut you off. Okay, that's when it's due. By then, that is when you got to turn it in. And yeah, here are the topics, just a list of things, a bunch of lectures up through week 5. I won't include functions on the like making your own functions. We'll learn how to do that. Making your own functions, that won't appear on the exam, but arrays and vectors, that'll be the last one I potentially hit hard on the test. These Zybook stuff, these labs, do take care because I think lab 3 will not quite be due. Lab 3 will not be due until after midterm 1, but the topics will be on midterm 1. So it's a good idea to get it done before midterm 1, all right? So you need to understand loops, and that is a loops lab, right? So that's that. And yeah, just a list of topics, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions about that stuff. That's when it's going to be, that's what's going to be on it. And I also have some sample questions. If you click this is a sample exam that I gave my students last time I taught the class. So look into that. That'll be the kind of format you can expect to see. And then here is what the format of the test is going to be. So remember at the start of the semester I said that you have to record yourself as you're taking it to keep things fair. This is here's pretty much the rules, all right? So you're going to have these kinds of questions, fill in the blank and coding questions. It's going to be on Canvas, but essentially we're going to pretend that this is a paper test, like you're taking it in class, and you can't like be using the server while you're taking it or looking at your textbook. It is a closed book test, but I give you one cheat sheet. All right, you're allowed to make one handwritten cheat sheet that is a printer paper size, 8.5 by 11, that you can use during the exam. All right, so that's the one thing that you get that's extra, and you can write on both sides of that. Okay, so you can have that to consult as you're taking the test, and then you can of course have as much blank scratch paper as you want. You just got to show me that it's blank with your camera. So yeah, you can't use anything else. No calculator, can't go on the server, can't go to any other tabs than the Canvas tab that has the test open. But you can use your scratch paper and your cheat sheet, okay? And so you're going to be recording yourself, even if you're in class, taking it in class. You're going to be recording yourself taking the test, and then you're going to submit the recording after you're finished. So here's like where you take the test, and then here's where you submit your recording file, okay? So that's what's going to happen, and there's going to be some instructions before you click start on the test page, and you have to follow them in order while you're recording. Okay, I've tried to make it easy and spell it out. There's a long list of things, but as long as you just do them all, you're good to go. All right, so I just wanted to make it easy for you. So there's a lot of things on that list, but we'll get to it. All right, so remember that you got to follow all the directions. If you don't, I have to give you a 0. All right, so just keep that in mind. I've given you an opportunity to practice. I'm going to talk about that in a second, all right? I've made a sample test. It's just like a couple little quick questions so that you can practice recording yourself and following all the directions. It's going to be this little section of the module, all right? Practice recording yourself. So I've got a few pages for us, all right? The first is just a walkthrough on how to record yourself. I've made a little video for us to follow all the instructions, right? So I use the OBS program to record. I think that's the one I'm teaching you how to use. You can use a different one if you can get everything else working in the way that I explain here, but I just recommend this one. If you want to follow my instructions, they're all here. All right, so here, this first video, you can watch it, and I go through all the steps on how to record yourself and to set up this OBS software. all right? Because I want to see your face. If you're taking it at home, I want to see your face and have your audio and also your entire screen, all right? If you're going to take it in class on the classroom computers, I still want you to record yourself, but it's a little bit different, so I've got a different setup here, and you won't record your voice or your face because there's no webcams on the classroom computer. So that's what you'd watch this video to learn how to do it on the classroom computers, and then here's like the recording that I made as I was going over how to record yourself. So like, please watch these and set up your OBS software well ahead of time, and try out this practice test. So what I've done is I've given you this little recording practice test. This is just for yourself. It's just like write hello world, but it's got the same format as the test. All right, so I'm going to click, it looks different for me, the instructor. Like you see all of this all at once, and then you have like a start button, but here, as the instructor, I see it this way. But here is going to be your instructions. This is exactly what the instructions will be like for the midterm. All right, so stop, don't click start until you follow the directions. And then here's all the things that I want you to do, and I go over them a little bit in the intro video. So yeah, here's kind of what you're going to do. If you're taking the test at home, you're going to clear everything off your desk, and you're eventually going to show me the desk. All right, you can go somewhere that's clear. Make sure you have enough free space on the drive that you're about to record to, so that you don't run out of space during the test. That's very important. Then you'll close all your programs except for your web browser and the recording software. Close all your tabs. You'll make sure that you've got your whole screen being recorded, not just your browser window, because sometimes you can hide things behind it, right? So I want to see the whole screen, including the time. I want to see the time. Make sure your microphone audio is enabled. All these things are going to follow them, okay? And you'll have your webcam video in like the corner, just not the corner with the time. And then you'll make sure that your background is clear, so I can just see what's behind you, and then you'll start recording yourself. You'll say your name, your student ID, so all these things. It's a lot of writing, but I think you can see how easy it is to do. So you'll practice this with the practice test, and then yeah, you'll just show me with your webcam, like because you're required to have a webcam as you take the test at home. Show me both sides of your cheat sheet, that it's handwritten. Show me that all of your scratch paper is blank. Show me that your desk is empty except for everything that's allowed. And then if you have a desktop computer, you can just like you can send me a picture with your phone, so you don't have to like lift up your monitor or something. That would be silly. But if you have a laptop, just show me with that. And then yeah, you're allowed to contact me if you want during the test. That's the one exception to these rules. Try to take it during an office hours time is my recommendation. And then yeah, just take the test. Don't stop recording until after you've submitted. So these are your instructions for the actual test and for this practice test. So you can follow the same ones and get practice. All right. If you're taking the test in the same classroom, there's less things to do in our actual classroom, and then you'll just like prove to me that you're in the class by showing me the IP address. But yeah, you can try this as much as you want, and you can practice recording yourself. So you click start. For me, it's preview. For you, it's start. And then for some weird reason, it shows you all the directions over again. Whee! And then I've got like a sample timer. For you, it's an hour and a half when you take the real test. But this one, I gave you 30 minutes to type the answer to 2 questions so that you can just kind of see what the timer is going to look like. And yeah, just like some rules. And like, here's your 2 questions for the sample test. Like, what's 2 plus 2? Enter in a Hello World program. So you can get some practice with like writing code on Canvas. That's important. All right, main. If you don't like the text this way, you can change it from like paragraph to pre-formatted, and that like makes it a little bit cleaner, I would say. Boop. It makes it look more like code. It's fixed width, but you have to like, you can't tab over. You gotta like space over. See out. Hello world. And a new line. So that's kind of what it's gonna look like when you code on the test. And then you just press submit when you're done, and then you stop your recording. All right, so that's kind of how I want you to practice, and I highly, highly encourage it, because if you get it wrong when it's time for the real test, I can't give you credit. So make sure to like iron out all the kinks on this sample test. All right, so practice this as many times as you want. You can submit it as many times as you want, and where you can upload your video is here, like practice test video submission page. What you'll do is you'll go here and there will be like a file upload button. You'll click it and you'll find the file wherever it got saved from OBS. For Windows, by default, it's in our videos folder. So like you drag in the video, and then you'd submit that after you've completed the test. All right, so you can try this recording practice test as much as you want and practice submitting the video as much as you want. I'm not going to look at your video submissions here, so just like let me know if you have any questions about whether or not you did it right. But yeah, those are the resources that I've given you. I know it's a lot for the first test, but this is really the only way to keep it fair. I'm sorry, but I believe in you. We'll get through it together, okay? And then when it's time for the real test, you'll come here and do the same exact thing. You'll come to the midterm 1 page, there will be a start button, and then you'll submit your actual recording of the real test here after you've completed it, okay? And I think that's all that I wanted to say. So please let me know if you have any questions about the midterm. Like, you've got the info page, you've got a step-by-step guide on how to record yourself, depending on how you're taking it, and that will be that. All right, so that's all the test stuff. I hope that made enough sense. Please yell at me if you have any questions about any of that. The last thing I want to talk about is our extra credit assignment. So I give you an extra credit opportunity just in class if you want around every test time, and here is your extra credit opportunity. So this is worth up to 2.5% extra credit on top of your final grade, and I don't, though, allow late submissions, so you better make sure that you get all your video files in ahead of time before the due date. This due date is going to be the midnight before the test comes out. All right, so test comes out on the 18th, so this will be due on February 17th at 11:59 p.m. All right, so this is when it's available, and make sure to get that in. No late submissions for this one. Everybody has the same due date, okay? Yeah, what you can do if you would like the extra credit, you can make a review video. This is a great excuse for you to study a little bit harder and to help your peers, because you'll be posting this and your peers can see your review video. So I think it's a great opportunity. It's an easy way to study a little bit more and get some credit for it. So just make like a little video of going over some stuff that might be on the exam. So you don't have to edit it, submit what you want to submit, though you have to make new stuff, right? You have to make a little presentation that's brand new, okay? So here are the hard requirements for your video. You should go over some examples of things that will appear on the exam, and then just try to be a teacher. Go over demonstrate the concepts, what you're going through, like this is a while loop, this is a for loop, something like that. I don't know. Whatever you want to do, come up with some wild example, some interesting scenario that might be a test question, potentially. So that's one way to do it. If you want the full extra credit, please make at least a 20-minute video. You can just post the raw thing like I've been posting our lecture videos. You don't have to edit it or anything. If you want half the extra credit, you can make just a 10-minute video going over just a few examples, okay? And yeah, just to make it clear, you have to make something brand new. You have to do something extra to get extra credit. So you got to write new code that you've never written before, make some slides, draw some diagrams, something like that. You can't just go over a lab that you've done, that I worked hard on designing for us. Or you can't read over my lecture slides again, because those were made by me, right? That's not extra. So please, if you have any questions about whether your idea is extra enough, let me know. But as long as you kind of follow these ideas where you make something brand new, I'll be happy. And yeah, I'd be happy to also help you record if you would like. I think it would be a great practice for getting OBS working as well, because you need that for the test anyway. So practice recording yourself in another way if you would like. And that is our extra credit assignment. So this is helping you and your peers study for the test. Just go over some stuff, give a review, because one interesting thing that you learn about when you get to be a teacher is you really have to know the material in order to teach it. And so this is a great way to get to know it better, the kinds of things that I'm going to be testing you on. So yeah, you can record your video. There's a way to upload it through Canvas itself, the video file. You could also put it on YouTube and make an unlisted link or something. That would work as well. Or a public link if you want everybody else to see it in the world. But yeah, somehow give it to me in a way that I can see it, and I'll give you credit for it. So that is our extra credit opportunity for midterm 1. And I think I've gone through everything at this point. So I know that was a lot. So please yell at me if you have any questions about any of this stuff. But I've given you a lot of resources, right? You know exactly what's going to be on it. You got a practice exam on the midterm 1 info page. You have a step-by-step guide and some ways to practice recording yourself, all right? And then the real midterm, the real deal is going to be down here when it's time for it. Okay, so remember the dates, pick out a time right now for when you're going to take it, and I think that's all that I wanted to say. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be here for you. But I think that's all that I've got for us for right now. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.